If you're watching your credit score every day trying to get ready to buy a home, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Listen. Just because someone has a 700 credit score, or maybe even a 550, doesn't mean that they're ready, right? Okay, so I want to bring this to you guys and share this information with you because I know everybody is on social media, the craze. You got to have a 600, you got to have a 700, you got to have this and that. And as a lender, we don't care about that. We look at the guts. So let me give you an analogy and then I'm going to bring it in, okay? So think about this. We just say that you know this lady. Her name is Susie. And Susie looks great. She is fabulous. Y'all just talked the other day and she looked all healthy and she said she felt good. And then the next day, Susie died. And you'll say, wow, she looked from what I saw, we just talked the other day, she looked great. And I know I went drastic there with you, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. You say, wow, she looked great. She looked great. But what we didn't realize is that Susie wasn't taking her medicine. Susie had been diagnosed with a heart condition and she didn't tell you. She didn't share with you. So from the outer surface, she looked great. But on the inside, on the gut, in the body, tore up to the floor. And so with that, that's the way when it comes to people's credit. Someone can say, hey, I got a 720 credit score. I'm good to go. Let me go ahead and buy me a house. Wait a minute. The lender says, you just got out of a bankruptcy. They filed Chapter 7 and just got discharged. Now you have to wait 2 years, even though your credit score is 700. It doesn't qualify you, right? So then you say, there's someone that has a 550 credit score. And they was like, I'm not ready. I'm not going to be ready. And I've seen people with 500 credit scores get homes. Somebody's calling. I've seen people with 500 credit scores get home, right? We're looking at the contents. We're looking at the guts. We're looking at who you owe, what kind of debts you have. We're looking at all of that, your income that goes into play, but your credit. We're looking at who you owe, how much you owe, how your payments being on time or late payments. All of that comes into play. There are 5 components that make up that credit score, and that is your payment history. That is and that's like your biggest one. That's like 35% of your credit score. 30% is how much you owe, right? And then you have the new credit, which is, I think, is about 10%, the mixture of credit. And then I always get this, the length, the history, right? So your history is about 15%. So you got the 35 is your payment history. 30% is how much you owe. Your history is 15%. And then 10% on the mixture of credit and the new credit. That is the guts of your credit. So when people say, oh, I looked on Credit Karma and the scores, I'm not fazed by it. Now I'm no fan of Credit Karma, but I am a fan because when I go and I have a Credit Karma account, I don't looking at the scores on Credit Karma. I'm looking at the contents because they have something that shows you, and I think it's only TransUnion and Equifax that's on there. We have 3 credit bureaus, right? But for the most part, when I'm looking on my credit profile on Credit Karma, every little section that I just gave you all, it has a green color or yellow color or orange or red. And if you're in that red, that's what you need to fix on. That's what you need to be looking at, right? Or if you're in the green, that's what you need to keep doing right because that's good. So where people say, I'm going to go and I'm going to go pay this collection off, sometimes you don't even have to do that, but you wouldn't know that because you haven't met with a lender to give you that information. So if I just say this, stop looking at your credit scores. Stop looking at the credit scores. Start looking at the contents. What are your credit card balances looking like if you have credit cards? What's your student loans looking like? Whatever is coming on that credit report, that's what we're looking at. Now, I will tell you this. If you have a car note and you have less than 10 payments, we're not looking at that. But I wish people would get out of that talking about their credit scores and look at the contents. And then once the contents get cleared up, then that's when you're ready. But don't always go off and run and pay these debts off, right? Because some debts you don't have to pay. It's just, it all depends on also too what type of loan that you are looking to get, because there are several different loans: FHA, conventional. If you served in the military and you have your VA, eligibility, certificate of eligibility, then you can do that. Or if you are able to qualify for what we call a USDA in the rural areas, you may qualify for that. But again, we still need a credit score. However, we're looking at the contents. So I hope this information was of value to you. I am LaTrasha. I'm a real estate broker here in the state of Georgia as well as in Alabama. And I'm also a licensed mortgage loan originator. And so tomorrow I'm going to be talking about when people do get mortgage ready, the things that they do wrong, right? I need you to stay tuned, all right? So go ahead, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, get that notification, and I'll see you on the next one.